Welcome to the Cultivology podcast, where we study the science of growth, the growth of small, niche, and large businesses, and how we scale. Howdy, welcome back to the Cultivology podcast, where we talk about the study and the science of growth and cultivation. So today we're here shooting our shot with resources. So we're doing a little talk here about resources, using resources, finding resources, and how you can be more resourceful in your niche, ag, small business, big business, and how it can take you to greater, higher heights, a more fulfilled life, and ultimately get you to your goals. So resources are something that's overlooked oftentimes by everybody in business. There's resources around us at all times. I mean, lots of things that you may not even consider something that may be useful to you is something that maybe you should be delving into, diving deeper into, and looking more in depth about or for or after. So resources to me, Kyle Beaver of 10 Mile Mushrooms, are anything that are going to get us ahead. Anything that's going to create a positive impact on my employees, the business, the people around me, are all things that I want to be taking into consideration when I'm searching for potential resources and potential things to propel us forward, propel the industry forward, and propel others forward. So those are my three key things that I look at when I'm checking out or looking into other people or other things that could be of benefit to me. I'm looking at not if it's a benefit to me, but is it a benefit to my employees, the industry, and can I help others with it? Those are huge, huge things that you want to take into consideration when you're looking for resources. So, as I stated, lots of these resources are typically right in front of our face. If you listen to the first Cultivology podcast, we're talking about how our field of vision is so narrow. You know, we're looking at our total vision is 100%, right? Or that's what we perceive it at. But truly our focal point is only 1% of that vision. So when looking for and at resources, sometimes things that could be useful to us are right in front of our face. And that's happened to me personally multiple times throughout my business career. And the use of the resources around me has actually gotten me to the point where I'm at today, which is, you know, with a successful business, purchasing 70 acres, putting up an 8,000 square foot warehouse, all without any money. Resources that became available to me because I was seeking them out all led to this. And I'm super, super grateful for that. But when it comes to your business, I'm sure there are multiple things that you could and should be looking at that will propel you to even greater heights. So let me get into a small story here about how a little resource ended up being the ultimate change in my life. So when I first started 10 Mile Mushrooms, I didn't start 10 Mile Mushrooms. I was looking for a business to start. I was looking for a niche business. I was looking for something that was different. And I had no idea what I was going to do. So I did not start my entrepreneurship journey intensively thinking, oh, I'm going to be a mushroom farmer. That was absolutely out in left field. I was open and willing to do anything and everything. So fortunately enough for me, I was able to use a small resource that was found through my family to start my business. So my parents had a small barn on their property. This barn had horse shit, pig shit in it. It was unfinished. It was old pig stalls. It was a potato storage bin, and it was essentially storage for junk. So I asked my family, hey, this is not being used. Could I potentially use this little bit of space to start a business or to run a business or to do something with? And of course they said yes. If you have some supportive family, it's a huge one up. But resources do not need to be found through family. They can be found through associates, through friends, through small business startups. There are so many places that you can look that you're probably not even checking out. But family's a great one to start. If you have a good family, it is absolutely like the namesake and the keepsake that's going to propel you forward. And if you don't have a good family, don't worry about it. There's plenty of people out there who are going to love and support your journey. And you don't have to worry about what your family thinks, what they do, what they say, because ultimately everybody thought I was crazy once I got into mushrooms. So don't worry about that portion of it. People are going to say, they're going to do what they will. But that does not mean that they are not able to help you out a little bit and maybe give you the step in the right direction that could blow your life or your business or whatever else you're doing wide open. So I got this little barn. I outfitted it for mushroom production only after making a Google search that was things to do with small amounts of space. I had no idea what I was going to do or how I was going to do it. So I turned to Google, another great resource. Google, YouTube University are the two things that really, really helped me out when I got into this industry. So the Google search, things to do with small amounts of space, led to a UK mushroom growing site. And I was always a biology guy. I was always somebody that was really into the way things grow, the way the human body works, the way, nature intrinsically comes together. So this was something that I thought was really interesting. Niche businesses, as I stated, are always something that I'm looking at and delving a little bit further into because there's just that opportunity to create a raving client fan base where, if you're a dry cleaning company, you may not have a raving fan base like you could with a specialty mushroom farm, with, a creative design studio or something along those lines. So this resource of obtaining the barn farm, was really what led me to being able to bust wide open. So I outfitted this barn, poured concrete, YouTube University the whole way through, and was eventually able to start establishing ourselves as a local market farmer, and then eventually started shipping ready to fruit growing medium to farms all over the country. And that's what led to the large and big advancement here to where we were able to make this big step and to obtain this facility and the financial backing for all of that. So that was the resource that really blew it wide open for me. And that was just simply asking people to use things that they weren't using. And I'm sure if you take a look in your own life, there are people around you who have things available that they are not taking care of, that they don't care about, that they're not using personally on a day-to-day basis. And lots of times you're going to be able to work out some sort of deal in order to use this facility, land, tools, whatever it may be, in order to bust your business wide open. So that was like the first planting the seed stage of growth for me, was this Google search, using the resource of Google, technology, and just asking people. Those two things led to the sprouting seed, which is now much, much bigger and growing into a fully mature tree. It's really crazy. So after that, lots of other resources became available to me. Once you get your foot in the game, the resources just kind of start flowing to you. And making that first step is really ultimately all you need to do to open up a door of abundance. So let's talk about other resources that may be available to you as a business owner, as a farmer, as somebody who's wanting to get into business. So there's three things that I can think of right off the top of my head that you should be looking into. Something that I just discovered this past week was the startup here in our local community. It is a small business incubator, they call it. The name is Startup, but it's ran by the Economic Development Center here. And these people are all about helping businesses thrive. That's literally their job, is to help businesses thrive. So I finally, after 7 years, got connected with this small business center. And after 1 week had opened up the door to $30,000 in potential grants. I mean, that's just from networking, talking to people, using the resource that has been in front of my face for 7 years. Totally neglected it, totally was not about it, always thought I was too busy, I had too much going on. But once I opened up and got down there, shook some hands, $30,000 just kind of appeared out of thin air. So absolutely recommend find your local small business incubator. Lots of universities, small colleges, all have these kind of small business centers where they can potentially build you a website for free, or they're willing to do marketing for free. They're willing to put the students in to your workspace and give them internships. And that just opens up a whole bunch of doors for you to move yourself ahead just a little bit. So the second resource that you should be looking for is the Small Business Association or Administration. The SBA has tons of loans available for beginning business owners, for startups, with very low interest rates, very little necessary credit, things like that. It's an awesome resource that you can just walk in the door, give them a call, and potentially get a couple $100,000 in loan funds to get your operation rolling. The SBA, I would totally recommend looking into. It's an easy resource that is available to everybody. The third resource, especially for farmers, is the USDA. If you're a small farmer, a beginning farmer, the USDA and the Farm Service Agency have beginning farmer grants, loans, microloans that you cannot beat the interest rates anywhere else. These loans are specifically designed for farmers, for people with little money. They require no credit checks. They require no money down. And you can open up a huge, wide range of opportunity for yourself using this resource. So we bought our first equipment purchase using a USDA loan, a micro loan. We actually just paid it off this past year. Woohoo! But this loan led us to be able to get a mixer, to get some of the larger equipment that I didn't have the money for at the time. And we were able to start producing on a larger scale almost immediately because we got affiliated with these people. The USDA and the FSA really want to help. So get down there, introduce yourself. All you're going to need is an LLC. Once you have an LLC formulated, you're an operating business, you can start taking out grants and loans from them almost immediately. So I hope this helped, guys. Go check out the 3 local resources that really could blow your business wide open. Startup incubators, the SBA, and the USDA. Go check them out, introduce yourself, shake some hands, Get your business formulated and off the ground, because we only grow through good foundations. We'll see you on the next one. Keep on studying that cultivology.